There are 5 hours in every single day when the spiritual gates of darkness slam shut. 5 specific hours when no curse can penetrate, no manipulation can succeed, no assignment from the kingdom of darkness can manifest. I know this because I used to send those assignments, and today I'm going to expose everything. My name is Obioma Nwankwo, and I am from Port Harcourt in Rivers State, Nigeria. I used to be a woman who practiced witchcraft for 17 years. Now I have embraced Islam, and what I'm about to share with you will shake the very foundation of how you understand spiritual warfare. Let me take you back to where it all began. I was 23 years old, a university graduate who couldn't find work. My family was suffering. My younger siblings were dropping out of school. My mother was sick, and we had no money for medicine. I was desperate, angry at God, angry at the world. That's when my aunt visited from the village. She pulled me aside one evening and whispered, "Obioma, I can help you, but you must never speak of what I'm about to show you." Within 3 months, everything changed. I got a job, money started flowing, my mother's health improved. But the price? Every midnight, I was no longer myself. I was attending meetings in the spiritual realm, learning the craft, making covenants I didn't fully understand. They taught me the secrets. They taught me the hours when our powers were strongest. But more importantly, they taught me the hours we feared most. Here's what they never tell you about the kingdom of darkness. We operated on a strict schedule. Just like any military operation, we had intelligence. We knew when people were spiritually vulnerable and when they were protected. And there were 5 hours, 5 specific windows of time when our assignments would fail, completely fail. Not sometimes, every single time. But here's the first thing you need to know. These weren't random hours. They were connected to something we in the darkness absolutely dreaded. It was the time when people would deny their bodies, when they would fast. You see, when a person fasts, something happens in the spiritual realm that most people don't understand. A barrier goes up, an invisible wall. We called it the burning gate because approaching someone who was properly fasting felt like walking into fire. Let me break down these 5 hours for you, and pay close attention because this information cost me everything to obtain, and it's costing me even more to reveal. The first hour is between Fajr and sunrise, that time between 4:30 and 6 in the morning. This was our nightmare hour. When people woke up for dawn prayers and began their fast with sincere intention, a shield would form around them. We couldn't penetrate it. I remember countless times trying to afflict someone during this hour, and it was like hitting reinforced steel. The fast hadn't even fully begun. Just the intention, combined with that early morning prayer, created an impenetrable defense. The second hour is mid-morning, between 9 and 10:30. This hour shocked me the most when I discovered it. This is when the body starts to feel the fast, when hunger begins to set in. In the demonic realm, we were told to attack during this hour because people's resolve would be weak. But here's what we discovered instead. Those who persevered through this hour with prayer and remembrance of God became untouchable. It was as if their temporary suffering was being converted into spiritual armor. The third hour is the noon convergence between 12 and 1:30 in the afternoon, midday, the sun at its peak, the body at its weakest. We thought this would be our opportunity, but something extraordinary happened during the noon prayer combined with fasting. There was a convergence of light. That's the only way I can describe it. Multiple dimensions of protection layering over the person. We would retreat immediately. The fourth hour is the afternoon persistence between 3 and 4:30. This was the testing hour. By this time, people who were fasting were tired, drained, sometimes irritable. We would attack their emotions, their thoughts, trying to make them break their fast early or become angry and nullify their worship. But those who remained patient, who continued in remembrance and prayer, became surrounded by what we called the golden circle. Nothing could cross that boundary. The fifth hour is the breaking point, just before Maghrib, just before sunset, the final hour before the fast is broken. This should have been our moment of victory because people were at their most vulnerable physically. But this is when something miraculous happened. The supplication, the prayer of a fasting person right before they break their fast, it's like a nuclear bomb in the spiritual realm. We would flee, literally flee, because that prayer was guaranteed acceptance. And if they prayed against us, our assignments would not only fail, but backfire. Now, here is what you need to understand. I've given you the 5 hours, but there's something deeper I haven't told you yet. After I left the coven, after I embraced Islam and started fasting myself, I discovered something that my former masters had hidden even from their own followers. These 5 hours I just described, they're not just about fasting, they're about intention combined with action. You see, there were people who fasted but remained vulnerable. We could still attack them. Why? Because their fast was just physical hunger. Their hearts weren't in it. They were fasting out of tradition, out of habit, not out of sincere devotion. The 5 hours only become impenetrable when 3 elements combine: the physical act of fasting, the spiritual act of prayer and remembrance, and the purity of intention seeking only God's pleasure. When these 3 elements merged during those specific hours, it created what we called the triple lock. And I want you to understand this clearly. In 17 years of practicing witchcraft, attending the highest councils of darkness, learning from entities that had existed for thousands of years, I never, not once, saw anyone break through the triple lock. You might be wondering, why did I leave? If I had power, money, influence, why would I walk away? Here's what they don't tell you when you enter that world. Yes, you get temporary success. Yes, money flows. Yes, doors open. But you become a prisoner. Every benefit comes with a debt, and the interest is collected in blood. I was required to sacrifice, not animals, people, close to me. I lost my first daughter to a mysterious illness when she was only 6 months old. They told me it was the price of my promotion in the coven. I lost my husband. He left me, said I had become someone he didn't recognize. I lost my mind. Slowly, gradually, I would wake up screaming, not knowing where I had been or what I had done in the night. But the breaking point came during Ramadan 4 years ago. I was assigned to destroy a family, a Muslim family that was fasting. I had their names, their photographs, everything I needed. I began my rituals at midnight. By 3 in the morning, I was ready to strike. But then, something happened that changed everything. As I sent the attack, it bounced back. Not just bounced back, it felt like I had been electrocuted. I collapsed, and in that moment of pain, I heard a voice, clear as day, speaking in my heart. You cannot win against those who humble themselves before me. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later. The doctors said I had a severe stroke, but I knew what had really happened. That family's fast, their prayers during those protected hours had not just defended them, it had shattered my assignment and nearly killed me. That's when I knew I was on the wrong side. Leaving wasn't easy. There are consequences to breaking covenants with darkness. I was attacked, tormented, threatened, but I started fasting. I started praying, and I discovered that those same 5 hours that had blocked my witchcraft were now protecting me from those who wanted revenge. Every morning between Fajr and sunrise, I would wake up and make my intention to fast. Every mid-morning when the hunger strikes, I would pray instead of complaining. At noon, every afternoon, every moment before breaking my fast, I fortified my soul, and slowly the attacks stopped. The nightmares ended, the voices went silent. I had spent 17 years learning how to destroy people through darkness. Now I was learning how to protect myself through light, and the weapon was simple: sincere fasting during those 5 sacred hours. Let me tell you the ultimate secret that the kingdom of darkness fears most. It's not just that these 5 hours protect you, it's that consistent fasting during these hours doesn't just defend, it elevates you spiritually to a level where you become untouchable. In the covens, we had levels: 1st degree, 2nd degree, up to the 7th degree. I was 5th degree, but I learned that a single person who fasts sincerely for just 1 month, hitting all 5 protected hours with genuine devotion, rises to a spiritual level higher than our 7th degree masters. That's why Ramadan terrified us. That's why we would avoid targeting practicing Muslims during that month, because for 30 days, they were operating in those 5 hours continuously, building spiritual fortitude that we couldn't penetrate even if we tried for years. So now I stand before you, no longer Obioma the witch, but Obioma the warner. I'm here to tell you that there is a battle happening right now in the spiritual realm. Assignments have been written with your name on them. Curses have been sent toward your family, your health, your finances, your future. But you have a weapon so powerful that the entire kingdom of darkness trembles when it's used correctly. Fast, not just physically, but with your whole heart. Wake up before dawn and set your intention. When the morning comes and hunger strikes, pray instead of complaining. At noon, remember God. In the afternoon, remain patient. And before you break your fast, make supplication with absolute certainty that you will be answered. Do this and watch what happens. Watch how doors that were closed suddenly open. Watch how attacks that were succeeding suddenly fail. Watch how your life transforms from being a target to being untouchable. I'm not asking you to believe me because of my story. I'm asking you to test it for yourself. Take these 5 hours I've given you, fast with sincerity, pray with devotion, and see if anything in the kingdom of darkness can touch you. The kingdom of light is calling you. The question is, will you answer? My name is Obioma Nwanko. I used to send the assignments. Now I'm teaching you how to cancel them. The choice and the power has always been yours. Start today. Start now. Start with the very next dawn and watch every witchcraft assignment against your life become impossible.